got me a new place, man. Hate my neighbors, man. I got neighbors that borrow shit all the time. You ever had a neighbor that borrow your shit and keep it so long you have to borrow it back? I told you, you got a broom I can borrow, man. No, you got my goddamn broom.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Tunji's podcast. I'm your host, Tunji Taylor Lewis. Guys, today I'm going to talk about sleep. Or rather the lack thereof. If you're watching this on video, or maybe you can tell this by listening to the podcast, I am overtired right now, and so you might get a little bit of hyper Tunji right now. Hey Jordy, what's up, man? How you doing? The reason why I'm feeling overtired and sleepy right now is because I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. The reason why I didn't get a lot of sleep last night is because, as all creatives know, sometimes you get an idea, a really creative idea. Sometimes the idea is something that you can create in the moment. Sometimes the idea is something, that you aspire to do in the future. But either way, the idea is something that really gets your blood pumping, really gets your brain moving. And unfortunately, sometimes that happens at 1:30 in the morning. That would be fine if I didn't have work early the next morning. Furthermore, that would have been fine if I didn't have to get up early to go work out before I had work at 9 o'clock. Unfortunately, that was this predicament I found myself in. So to help me, release some of that, extra inspiration that was inside of my brain, I made a little TikTok video, and that usually helps me. And you know what was funny? The right before I went to sleep, I had a feeling that I wouldn't be able to fall asleep, because that whole day had been just a day of me just being, extra dreamy. What's that? Jerusalem understands. That whole day had just been a whole day of me being inspired and creative and thinking of things. The first thing that happened yesterday on Sunday was that I went to church. And I don't know what it is about church. This is a bad habit that I have. Sometimes when I'm in church, unfortunately, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I drift off while the sermon is going on. And I start getting all these ideas in my head about jokes or about shows or about content creation. I was thinking a lot about content creation while worship and church service was going on. That's a bad thing to do because you're supposed to be praising God in that moment. But, I was thinking about comedy and content creation. So that was the first step. Then after that, I was hanging out with my boy after church, Zach. He comes from LA, so I was just asking him questions about Los Angeles, what it's like out there. I definitely see myself moving down south, whether it's Los Angeles or New York. So I was just asking my boy questions about New York. So that kind of got my blood pumping even further. And then next up, I just started having conversations with my girlfriend about just our individual goals and dreams, the stuff that I want to do, the stuff that she wants to do, how great I want to be, how great we want to be, the stuff that we would do together, all sorts of stuff. So that was another step. And then later in the day, I was listening to a podcast. It was supposed to be a comedy podcast. It was these two comedians who I really, really admire and love, and I was really excited that they were collaborating on a podcast. These dudes, instead of talking about jokes and comedy, they were talking about inspirational stuff. They were talking about the good stuff that they were doing, how they were going about their careers independently, how they weren't relying on networks to give them opportunities, how they were revolutionizing the game. By the way, if you haven't checked it out, check out Brilliant Idiots, check out Flagrant 2. Those are two of my favorite podcasts. Andrew Schultz is on both of those, man. That dude is literally changing the comedy game. Hey, Tills! That's my high school drama teacher, Dan Tilsley, who just joined the live, man. That dude, if it wasn't for that dude, I wouldn't be on the career path that I am on right now. So thank you for everything, Tills, as always. But I digress. So I'm listening to this podcast. They're talking about like all of this stuff that gets my blood pumping, and so by the time it's time to go to bed, I am just like full on, like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna be great, I'm gonna do all this stuff, blah blah blah, I'm gonna do this for people, I'm gonna do that for people, all that stuff. And I couldn't sleep. And it's a good thing and a bad thing. Like, I think those times when I have, it's happened, like, it's the second time this week where I haven't been able to sleep because my mind is going so much and I'm just thinking about all the stuff that I want so bad for my life and for my future. And when times like that happens, like, that's definitely an indication for me that I'm like a move is on the horizon, like I'm about to make a move, like I'm about to do something drastic. I just don't know what it is yet, right? Like this was the similar feeling I had like around the time when I wanted to move away from improv and just create content for Instagram and social media full on and just make that like the pure thing that I do. Queen, why queendom? Do you have your own jokes? Yeah, I guess so. I have my own jokes, but like the thing about it is like I'm an actor, like I'm a comedic actor. Like I don't consider myself to be a stand-up comedian in the same sense that Kevin Hart and Steve Harvey and Bill Burr and those guys are. I'm a comedic actor, so the people who I aspire to be like are people like Will Smith and Steve Carell. Just people who can act in a funny way, people who you could throw in a sitcom as opposed to throwing on stage with a mic, if that makes any sense. So I hope that answers your question. That is a question that I get a lot, not in a respectful manner like this person just asked it to me right there, but usually that's how people hate on me, like on social media, on Instagram, is like, like, you ain't even got your own jokes, you lame as hell, bro. And like, yet they have like 5 followers and they follow 500 people. Super strange how that happens, but anyways, totally got distracted. But yeah, y'all, it's man, sleep. Cannot find it right now. It's a good thing and a bad thing because it means that I'm about to make a move in a positive direction for my life and for my career. The downside to it is that I'm in work like a freaking zombie, and when people give me like assignments to do, I either don't want to do them or I'm doing them extremely slowly. My workout this morning was a struggle. Okay, like I was already tired, and I should also like point out I also made a mistake the night before by eating like some chocolate and what else did I eat? I just ate some stuff I wasn't supposed to be eating, some junk food the night before I went to go work out. So like my stomach isn't happy with me. I don't have the proper amount of sleep, and now I gotta box like as hard as I freaking can. Give the left hooks. This was me this morning. I gave a couple good ones, and then like by the time I got to the 10th one, the punches got mad soft. I'm not even gonna lie to you. So anyways, y'all, yeah, that's kind of what I'm going through right now. I got a little bit of a mini headache. I was gonna take a nap before I did this podcast, but I figure, you know what? I do kind of have some weird, overtired energy that I can use to sort of hopefully entertain y'all in the podcast. You should have had a green smoothie. So you know what's crazy? I actually have my smoothies after. I have like a protein smoothie after my workouts, and it's like just fruit and just protein, and like that's really helping me, like get my body right and get the body where it needs to be. So I actually don't eat anything before my workouts because I just feel like it's just like another thing to push through, like mentally, right? It's another thing. It could be stupid, but that's what I do. So anyways, y'all, that's all the time I have. Peace out. Love y'all. Bye.